I apologize for this grainy look here, but sadly, this is the only way I can get this audio of this post on Twitter. So let's go ahead and react to it. It is 10 seconds, and I want to kind of talk about this because it brings up a bigger point. But Ja'Marr Chase was asked yesterday whether or not he feels like the season is slipping away from him. And I think it's really a bad question, especially after a loss like yesterday. Joe Burrow's out for the season. You know, we're not in a good spot. We're really going downhill when it comes to, you know, this team this year. It's a question where it's like, what do you expect this guy to say, right? He's the best receiver on this team. He's about to be on a contract year, not next year, but the year after that, because of fifth-year option. And it's just, I'll play the audio. Hang on.
I don't know. It's my first time feeling like this. I really don't know how this is going to go.
What's going through your mind right now?
Nothing.
And again, you know, I bring up a million times how, well, theoretically speaking, we could make the playoffs, right? And again, we could technically, if everything works out, we could make the playoffs. But this is why I will say sometimes with these reporters, and I get it, you know, they have to ask questions. They have to get a story. They have to kind of, you know, see what they can post about, talk about. But this is why it is so, like, mind-numbing when sometimes it comes to reporters asking these questions. Because, like, man, what do you expect him to say, right? Like, obviously, you know, he wants to go win a Super Bowl. It's very obvious. Ja'Marr Chase wants this team to win. He wants this team to play the best football possible. And, you know, you lost the quarterback for the year. The backup just lost the game. I'm going to say he lost again. I think it was a lot of play calling and offensive line. But, like, overall-wise, there's so many issues and problems. It's now to a point where it's like, this is kind of what I feel like is going on around the whole entire team. It's not just, you know, Ja'Marr Chase here, but it's the morale. The morale of this team now is like, we don't know what's going on. I know Drew Sample talked yesterday, and he kind of tried to keep the ease of like, hey, listen, the guys here, they have been through situations like this before. They know how to handle the highs. They know how to handle the lows. And he kind of reassured the team that, you know, we'll be fine. We'll not be fine, but, you know, we're not going to dwell on this. We're not going to be upset about this. We're going to keep trying our best to be our best football team possible. And that's kind of what Zach Taylor iterated. But I think, you know, Ja'Marr Chase really spells the whole truth here. As always, he's very honest, open and honest with his opinions and his how he feels. And I think that's really what this comes down to. It's like, it's kind of a, I don't know. Because at this point, you know T's probably going to, well, I'd say T's going to leave. But most likely T's going to get franchised. So he's going to have one more year with us. And then we're going to lose a lot of other players. And this team's not going to be like it was this year or next year. So, with all the uncertainty, you know, this really was the year. And I know I keep bringing up the playoffs and all the talking about the playoffs because, again, you know, right now we sit at a 3% chance to make the playoffs. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we're 1,000% going to make the playoffs. Obviously, we're not. But at the same time, you know, this is kind of what these players, especially right now in limbo, you know, they want to win. And they're going to try their best to compete every single week to make these playoffs. You know, while fans, I know sometimes we think about the draft, we think about the future, think about all these things, you know, these players like Ja'Marr Chase, not strictly Ja'Marr Chase, but a lot of these players, you know, they only have short shelf lives, right, for their careers. They're only going to be in the league for so long. So when we say like, oh, season's over, next year it is, for them, next year is one less year left of them playing football. So again, we play Monday Night Football at Jacksonville. We have to win that game. I mean, technically speaking, we do not have to win that game. We could still make the playoffs if we don't win that game, but that game is very, very important. And if we win that game, again, Browns lost yesterday to the Broncos. That was a plus for us, obviously. Steelers obviously beat us. The Ravens have to play the Steelers at the end of the season, so somebody's going to lose there. So it's either going to be the Ravens are one step down with us, or they're going to be the Steelers are one step down with us. And yeah, we're going to need some other things to go our way. And I think we can beat the Colts and Vikings, even with Jake Browning. I know that's crazy to say. I don't know if we can beat the Steelers. I really don't. And this Jacksonville, say we lose to that team, you know, this Chiefs game is going to matter a lot. beat the Browns the last week of the season, that's that 1% chance, less than 1% chance to make the playoffs. And again, man, I feel bad for these players. I really do. Especially Jamar Chase, when you're like one of the best receivers in the NFL, and you're going out every single game trying your best, and it's been very clear that other than Jamar Chase, this offense hasn't been producing that well. And again, a lot of it is play calling, a lot of it is offensive line, but it's just like Jamar Chase is literally carrying this team. Joe Burrow is trying to carry this team, but Jamar Chase, I feel like, is the guy who carries this team right now. And when everything is just crashing down around him, it's like, oh man, it's a tough pill to swallow. But again, it's just every game, man. It's every game moving forward. It's rattling off some wins. It's getting just going over and over again. And I know, again, like I said, a million comments. Oh, but we should lose. We should tank. We should go 5-12. We can, that's not how this team's going to play. This team is not going to accept 5-12. This team has gotten to a point with a winning culture, with a winning team here, that they're going to go out there and bust their butts. And, while a lot of those players right now kind of probably all like Chase in the limbo of I don't know, it's just going to thrive them even more. It's going to push them even more to figure something out because, again, they don't want to lose. They're all competitors. One thing we have in the Cincinnati Bengals squad is a team full of competitors. We have a team full of, absolute just warriors out there that want to win every single week. And again, this Jacksonville Jaguars game is Monday Night Football. If we win that game, again, I say what if. But that's really what it comes down to, right? And again, yeah, if we lose every single game, we go 5-12, and what pick do we have? Let's kind of summarize that pick. I know I don't really love talking about, like the mock draft yet, especially not when it's only week 13, but I mean, we kind of have to saw it, getting into that spirits. I don't mean this video to be so depressing, guys. It's just, we're kind of at that point right now with everything going on. But right now, we are currently sitting at, let me go ahead and move this down here, the 15th overall pick. Now, if we lose out the rest of the season, if we go 5-12, we're going to sit around number 7, number 8. We're going to sit around this period right here. And this is somebody that a lot of people have been talking about and mocking to us in a lot of different ways, and that's Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is one of the best tight ends in this draft. He's going to be a top 15 pick. He's a, next level tight end from Georgia. This guy is 6'4", 240 pounds. He is a monster. He is an absolute ball-hawking monster across the middle. Now, I think in this range, you could also look at tackle. That's another position you could look at. For example, Joe Altier from Notre Dame's a really good option. 6'8", 322 pounds, right? There's a lot of different options. And, we're going to see how this ends up working out, right? And at the end of the day, we could take Kool-Aid McKinstry, depending on what happens there. So again, there's a lot of different options, and now we're going to talk about the future, right? But at the same time, though, I'm going to tell you right now, there's 0 players on this roster who's given up on this team yet. Not at all. Not even one single player. So, well, yes, it's fun to talk about the mock drafts and, the future here. They haven't given up there. So, we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.